it did it, you know.
It did it. Okay, that's the other weird thing is, Rob, I have a deeper appreciation now for what you do. This has been a great day, but it's been extremely frustrating. You guys, you really need to support Rob. I cannot even imagine what you do because this is very difficult. And I really think you need to give a class in this shit. I'm telling you, I really do. Because this is a lot of back.
That's what I offered today. I started offering like a consulting service, like, but I put 3 tiers, and I figured if anybody wants to take me up on it, they can. And I figured I'll just give away all my secrets, like everything I've learned over the past 6-7 years. What to do, what not to do. Any questions about audio podcasting, Rumble, StreamYard, multi-streaming, setting up interviews, booking guests, doing thumbnails, using AI, how to, everything I've learned. I'm just going to give it to whoever wants to sign up for it. I'm just going to give it out. No, I'm not give it out, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's kind of my plan. I put that on social media. I don't know if I'll get any takers or what.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a class for a few people at one time, like on Zoom or StreamYard, where we can actually watch what you do so we can learn how to do it, because some of us actually learn through watching. But anyway, it was a great day because it was sort of cloudy and cool, and I got a good walk in, but it was an ungrounding day. So before we get into it, let's just take some deep breaths and just do...
That's a great bell. That's excellent. Wow.
Just feel your feet. Become aware of your surroundings and your breath. Breathe in the light and out the love, and just feel deep love and gratitude. And we're just all going through it together as we approach the solstice. We had that new moon in Gemini, and Gemini's like the GPS system. So let me tell you first what I happened to listen to on Coast to Coast before I went to this movie. Connie Willis was interviewing an astrologer, Mark Lerner, who was saying that because Steven Spielberg is a Sagittarius, it's kind of, important, that's like a fire energy. And with him doing this movie, it speaks a lot about, where he is in his trajectory, because, he started his career when he was really young, and you have to look at the movies from way back. People that were giving this reviews that they didn't like it were probably thinking it's going to be E.T. or it's going to be Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Indiana Jones. Yes, it did have some elements of that, and I am going to give a spoiler alert now, because I'm not going to tell you what the movie's about, but I'm going to tell you key things to look for in the movie. Okay, so yes, and then we want to also honor Dan Willis, because him leaving at the time of this new moon and right after this disclosure, day movie comes out, I find it interesting. But before that, I got to tell a joke, Rob. I just got to tell a joke. You know what the real disclosure is, right?
What's that?
The whole world knows now that Michelle Obama is a man.
Yeah, Josh Hogan said that at the UFC. It was hilarious. Like, yeah. But going back to Dan, like, okay, he was 77 years old, but he didn't look it. He looked like he was in his 50s. Yeah. And if you go to the video I did yesterday, someone left a comment, one of his friends, he said Dan was in perfect health. He said he extracted a fast-acting cancer, which took him out within 6 months. So I actually do believe he was targeted. Now, his best friend said in my comment section that he was targeted. So something happened, And it's weird that he had all that information on his website, the Web Matrix, which was like full of evidence and details and like exact dates and stuff. You know what I mean? It's almost like they want to wipe out any sense of like truth, and they want to like, I don't know what they're going to plan on rolling out, but that's kind of where I'm at with this.
Well, this whole thing too. Okay. So just also look at these other movies with Spielberg. Okay, so Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Indiana Jones movies are great. And yes, you saw the movie, right, Rob?
Yeah, I saw the
So
movie.
the
I liked
car
it.
chases and the whole scene with the train and what happened with them with the train. I'm not going to say what it is, but that's like right out of an Indiana Jones movie. That is
Yeah.
so Indiana Jones, like, so you have to have those car chases, the Indiana Jones fun stuff. But if people are looking for, disclosure of aliens, and this is going to be like another ET movie, or it's even going to be like the movie AI. Remember, he did that movie AI, which was at least 20 years old. He's also done things with Stanley Kubrick. And, Stanley Kubrick disclosed a lot of things like Eyes Wide Shut, and you know what happened to him after he did that movie. And then
he got taken out.
some of the other ones, like Minority Report, was based on Philip K. Dick's work. And Philip K. Dick was Blade Runner, and also Man in the High Castle, which, if you haven't seen that on Amazon, that discloses a lot of things about the Nazis and how the Nazis really won the war and how they can manipulate timelines. I mean, some people got frustrated with that, but I thought that was a fabulous show. And by the way, I've been wearing this shirt for days. It probably stinks now. This is the end of this shirt. I got to show off this shirt here.
It seems like they were trying to make, I guess because it's that's an amazing shirt. I love that. I love that. That looks like the alien in Full Disclosure in the movie.
Yes, it does, but at least it is purple. And the fact that there's only 4 races of aliens, that's crazy.
Yeah.
4 races. Okay, so the beginning, first of all, okay, the red cardinal. Okay, I'll tell you, the other day when I was in the parking lot at Planet Fitness, I happened to see a crow hopping around as crows do. And this crow was like looking at me, telepathing with me, and it wanted potato chips. And it was like, I invited it home. I said, if you want to come home with me, you can, but, I don't have any potato chips. I'm sorry. Somebody must have fed it potato chips. So the thing about birds coming and animals, with me, it is bugs and birds and all different kinds of animals. And we'll get into the animals. But the fact that it was a cardinal and that she wore a red dress, this indicates automatically that instead of safety, which is the root chakra, it's creating trauma. And the fact that there's 2 people involved in it, I can't remember the names of the characters, but one of the characters is an anchor woman. Anchor, get it? And the clicking, all that stuff. But what happened with the guy and the girl, he was the math, into the mathematics, and they were trauma bonded as a pair. And the fact that they say there was just 2 of them, no, 2 of them for not that mission, but not 2 of them. And there's more races than 4 aliens. But, don't listen to just like Joe Rogan or whoever. These people don't have the eyes to see these. And even David Icke saying, well, they're trying to spread an agenda of, that the Greys, the Greys are bad, and we can't empathize with the Greys. But I see that, but I didn't get that it was about anything like that.
I'm going to give a spoiler alert. I like the fact at the end that they disclosed like Roswell and they disclosed Kecksburg, and they downloaded all that stuff and they were shown it to the world. And I'll tell you what, like honestly, like even though it was a Spielberg film and everything, like there was a point at this size, I think I told you this earlier, where I got kind of emotional because I was like, this is what I've been fighting for the last 7 years, of my life. Just like in a way, it's like we've been fighting for disclosure. So if we could get disclosure like that, that would be amazing.
For those flat earthers, here are my earrings, okay? I don't get it, whether it's a flat earth or a round earth or a donut shaped or a pancake shaped or a Russian doll. I don't give a shit. All the above. But still, the alien part of it was not what it was about for me. It was the disclosure of handlers, of targeting, of, you don't have to call it SSP, but these are the notes that I wrote down, okay? The bird, the cardinal, the wearing of red, and instead of safety, and then the whole thing with the clicking, we got into that, the remote viewing, that agency, and the man that targeted the gal, and the whole thing with the Catholic Church and all that stuff, and her being a nun, that gal, right? Yeah. That man swapping with her with that device, and I know Anchor Haven has a remembrance of that device. You know, I see that there could be something, but I wasn't set on what the device was. But the fact that he can probe her mind, he can cause trauma, and he can cause an altar to come in that can be controlled. And you won't know what I'm talking about unless you see the movie. But I'm saying there's people watching the movie when we were in the audience, you know, when we were in the theater, and I know they had no idea what they're looking at.
Yeah,
Unless you've like had the experience, they don't know. But they're showing this to program the next generation, and then the ones that are retiring in this field, they're telling us, they're giving us the code, so we know what we've been doing, we know who we are. Because I had a meltdown in the theater. I cried a few times, and I know there's people posting on Facebook saying, if you've cried and this has brought up trauma for you, let me know. And you know, there's different people saying this because they're mind probing. They're creating psychic assassins and like a Manchurian candidate situation for her to do something, you know, not good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was also interesting, you know, of course the car scenes in the chase, some of it's ridiculous, but with the stuff that he went through and the crop circle that came in, remember that?
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah.
Now, his archetype reminded me of you, Rob, where if you were in that situation, you were going to get the hell out of Dodge. I could see that. with the driving away, you know what I mean? Like the driving, but the whole thing of some of it was like ridiculous. They didn't see him, but this like hiding in plain sight, and the thing about the car going off the cliff. I still don't think I'm giving any plots away. I'm just giving you some scenery along the way without giving the plot, because I'm not.
What did you think about the alien technology that she had? So supposedly, like, she had this alien technology, and it looked like that when they abducted her, that like that was what they were using, and they gave her one of those or something.
Yes, to connect.
Like somehow the government got it, and she got it back off the government, or I don't know. That was confusing to me. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think that can be anything, and I don't think, for me, that's like a moot point. That's not important. What's important now is to discuss the animals, because you can look at the animals different ways, and I actually look at the animals as animals. That the consciousness comes in and controls the animal, sort of like in the Bible where the donkey spoke, because it's easier for another consciousness to do that than project themselves as an animal. I'm not saying that they didn't, but what came to me first is maybe this is a new way to look at this, like seeing an elk, a fox, and a cardinal and a raccoon come into her room.
You know, this is it's common in like abduction lore. I'll just say abduction lore because we can't prove it, right? But like when people have been abducted by aliens, they say they see owls a lot, and they
right,
see
and something projects as an owl, or in the shamanic tradition gets the owl to go. I'd have to study that better to see what they were trying to convey there. But I noticed that she was singing the song from Cinderella. Someday my prince will come. So I was seeing Cinderella programming. I know with me, I had Wizard of Oz programming.
Yeah. Tell people about that. The people might not know. What do you mean by Wizard of Oz
I thought I was Dorothy at times. When I would go to my grandmother and grandfather, and I would be around their pool, I'd parade around their pool, and I'd say I was Dorothy. And
so they do that to us to get us like for like kids, it could have been G.I. Joe. For boys, it could have been like G.I. Joe program.
Yeah, but this was even different than G.I. Joe and Barbie. This was like the Wizard of Oz always seemed to be playing at their house. I don't really want to get into stuff with my family of origin because it's some weird,
It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate you saying it. You know what I mean? I appreciate you telling
I'll get into it another time because I don't want to get sidetracked from this, but it's interesting that it's a masculine and feminine. And I think they wanted her left hand up and his right hand down. So that's like, I know Ashiana Dini Asha calls it with her husband. What they do now, the work that they do, they call something like this where they bond together, the Niedra stance, to bring energy in. So there was this whole thing that it's taken them back to when they're a child. And boy, am I hot all of a sudden. I'm like running energy as I'm thinking about this. But when she was on that train, okay, I'll say when she was on the train, I broke down and I started to cry because she had anxiety where she was taking on the symptoms of her father, who I think had like a Parkinson's situation. And how many of us feel like we're going to die at times?
Yeah.
Like where we have heart palpitations, or we're sick, or she was
incredibly
targeted.
psychic. She was incredibly psychic, and some part of me wonders if her powers came from the aliens, or I don't know if that's what they were
Yes,
trying to
I think
portray.
so. I think she was anyway, but I don't see it as she's going to be psychic with that many people at one time, because that's going to wear you out. That's like multiple people. You know what I mean? This is like
Yeah.
and then the thing about the house, they could have created that holographically, but that reminded me of the Truman Show. The whole thing with the house
Yeah.
was the Truman Show. And they created it physical, I think, because it gave her comfort for it to be physical, and then it disappeared. There was that whole thing of like cloaking it. But that reminded me of Contact. Do you remember the movie with Contact with Jodie Foster? How when they showed her parents, they were aliens and they projected themselves at the parents. So they can do either. They can project themselves, but I think if they can use nature animals, it takes them less energy. It might just depend on the situation of how much energy they have to open the portal. That's why they have these devices. It's just an interesting way of looking at it, where they could actually use the actual animal, or they could project themselves as the animal. Either one.
Yeah.
Either one, they're going to make the animal do what they want. So it's
this
like
was an.
it's
Sorry. Yeah, this
Go
was
ahead.
an interesting comment from Katie123. I know you like to read the comments. She says, all of the above movies, I agree, are similar. She says, what about the tall owl? That's a creepy one. Receive with the left and give with the right, she says.
Yeah.
I know. Rion talks about that. They're like, we receive with our left and we give with our right, or something like that. When you're getting energy, you want to, something like that.
Right. Well, that's it in our tradition. Now, Chinese medicine, it's actually different. The masculine side in our tradition in Western is the right side, and energetically, the right side of the body's masculine and the left side's feminine. That's why even with in the magician card, it's like I think he's pointing like the left arm up and the right arm down in the magician tarot card. But in Chinese medicine, in the Taoist tradition, it's actually a little bit like the opposite of that. It's a little bit different. It's I know, because when I go get acupuncture, I'm actually surprised that it's different. But how it's different, I can't explain.
That's interesting for sure. Yeah, like, but Chloe says her energy comes through on the right side.
Okay.
And Chloe's in the chat. I don't. It's interesting. Like, yeah. But sorry,
I just did a show
like,
with Chloe the other day.
That's
and
awesome.
Chloe and I were on this morning together, trying to work on all this stuff, having a deeper appreciation for what you do, Rob, because it's insane what you do, the pace that you keep up. I could not do it.
It's I know I'm glad you did that. It's just because I've been doing it for so long. You know what I mean? That's why I think, but I mean,
it's easy for you. It becomes easy for you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now, but sometimes it's hard. Like, my computer's failing, basically. My old computer's failing. It took me like 2 hours to get the links ready for today. Well, I had this one and another one, but yeah.
So there was a lot in there. There was I know Julia, when I talked to her about this, she talked about the whole thing with the bases and the cow, that the sign with the cow. She had recognition of that. That seemed familiar to me too.
Yeah.
The fact that it was in Kansas. Dorothy,
yeah.
We're not in Kansas anymore. We're back in Kansas. So I think there was something about it being in Kansas that was kind of like a deliberate thing too.
Yeah. But going on to the Dan Willis thing real quick, I want to read this to Karen, because I know Karen's in the audience, and Karen said that Dan's wife hasn't said anything about foul play, which I didn't want to say anything either, because I wanted to be respectful of the family, but I'm just going to read this to you guys. This is from, I'm going to put it up on my phone. I'm sure he doesn't mind. And we're not going off track for a second, but check this out, guys. This is from Scotty Loper. And he did this 4 hours ago. He says, Dan Willis and I were best friends. He said, I love Dan like a brother. We communicated to each other almost every day. Dan was perfectly healthy and cancer-free less than 6 months ago. He woke up one day with severe pain in his leg. Doctors did a multitude of tests and couldn't figure out what. In April, Dan had an MRI and doctors discovered a fast-spreading cancer that they had not seen before and that had nothing to do with the mysterious leg pain. Doctors gave Dan 3 to 4 months to live. Dan knew he had been targeted by the deep state. He says, there's so much more to Dan's demise. Someday I'll release the past 5 months of our emails. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we need to all be careful. So it's almost like when you say what this movie really meant, what this it really is about, you got to be really careful because it's another level of they're hiding it in plain sight because sometimes it creates trauma. It's putting the trauma bond in the person, or it's awakening the trauma bond that's already there. There definitely is some different kind of programming than I've seen. It's just different.
It also seems like they're trying to erase like any kind of like people that know anything about anything, and like they're trying to just start a clean slate of like whatever they want to do, you know?
So my thoughts on, remember there was two schools of thought. One did not want any kind of disclosure because they thought it was going to be too traumatizing for humanity with religion. The other one said at this point, we need to release everything, right?
Yeah.
The problem with releasing everything, it's not the aliens, it's not what there is, it's not the technology, it's the lies. The biggest issue is how do you go back and cover up more than 80 years of lying? I mean, thousands of years of lying.
Yeah.
So my feeling is, my conclusion is, the way they do it is they create more Mandela effects over the time. So that way, instead of even having to have drip, 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 they can have drip, drip, drip. But instead of releasing all the files, releasing everything and saying this is what they're going to do, they could create Mandela effects because with these data centers and now with that thing you sent me on the quantum D-Wave computer, I didn't forget about it, but I haven't talked about it in a while. I remember talking about that years ago on my show back then about how that guy on the TED Talk said being in front of that was like bowing to an alien god. And what Elon Musk said about summoning the demon. And all these people are talking about summoning demons. So if they have quantum D-Wave computers and CERN and these data centers, which is about creating like almost like a battery, like it's going to use a lot of resources. So when you're using our resources, is that like a giant capacitor that they can use to actually open portals? Is that possible where they can summon and change the timelines for real and bring those beings here that they want to bring here, that are actually here right now in a different level? They're in a different rotation and particle spin. They're here, but to physicalize them, there needs to be enough energy to do it. And the reason they use trauma is because what came to me, and then the Summer Daze Conference was this weekend too. So this was great to do the Summer Daze Conference, my speech, all of it, and to be wide open to see this movie, to get as much as I could glean from this movie after that workshop, that sacred space that we shared on Saturday. I was just open, and then all the shows I've done and all the grid work online, like all the people, because I felt like, I'm on a trajectory with the solstice, and I just had the opportunity to get this high-end StreamYard for the past few days. So I'm like figuring why not, use the high-end StreamYard for the next, week and see what I can create and sit back and see if I can reap some reward of that. But it's helped me to give away and then open up to receive some of this stuff. And is that possible? They could actually do that. It is possible that that's how they could do it.
Yeah, Jason asked about
energy, because trauma, what I get is trauma is like quick energy. They want the quick loosh. They want the negativity because it's quick energy. The positive energy burns for longer, but it's a slow burn. It doesn't have the spark to light as fast. That's why I think they want the trauma, because I think it's like a quick burst of energy, but then you need positive for the slow burn. So we need to find a way to have the positive and have that also have the way to spark that energy. If there's enough of us positive, we need a bunch of people thinking positively to spark the energy, instead of like just a couple children that they do whatever they do to cause trauma to get like a spark of this negative energy.
Yeah,
If they want to
absolutely.
do something, and to me, it's another level of rape, pillage, and plunder. So what are people saying in the chat? I'm gonna have this kombucha. This stuff is great. This is like a super berry kombucha because I'm so thirsty today.
Yeah, Jason asked about what we think about the UAP advisory board. I think I just looked it up. I didn't know it was happening. I guess they put Avi Loeb on it and Dr. Michael Shermer of Skeptic Magazine. Like, I don't trust either of those guys. Honestly.
No, I don't either.
I don't. I don't. I think that's absolute bullshit. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. I just feel like this whole government disclosure project is an absolute joke. You know what I mean?
It's a distraction. I think a lot of it's a distraction from the Epstein files. I mean, this whole thing at the White House is all distraction, but it is funny. Like Joe Rogan's involved now, and
you know what? You hear something hilarious? Like me and Jason were going over the files the other night, and like some of these, they're not even giving the real video. They're giving a rendering. And I was watching Kim Iverson today. I don't know if you ever watched Kim Iverson. She's like more like a political. But she's good. Like I like her stuff. And she was like, why are they giving out renderings? She's like, this is supposed to be disclosure. They're giving out like renderings. It's like you're supposed to be releasing disclosure. You're releasing drawing renderings of like, you know what I mean? Like, what is that? And it made me think about it. I was like, what is that? Why would they absolutely do? That's crazy. When we know like experiencers and everybody else has real footage all over the place, they could get it off of them. Like why? And then the stuff that they did give is absolute garbage. It's like hardly anything really good. It's like I don't know what it is. To me, I don't even, unless they don't really know, and there's a part of the government that's really like black ops that does know, and they're the ones tied into the secret space program. I don't think the government's that clueless. I don't know.
I don't know, but remember Avi Loeb and the whole
Mula
Atlas stuff, all that 3i Atlas. We still don't really know what that was.
Yeah.
It could be data in space, some kind of data too, artificial. I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know, but I think it brought in some kind of codex and some kind of memory, no matter what it is, whether it's real, fake. I don't know. It did do something because consciousness is shifting, and ultimately they're doing something to our consciousness. And I really feel there are Mandela effects coming.
Yeah.
Even like Tartaria. I had Joshua Shapiro on my show too, and I was thinking the whole Tartaria thing, to me, that's a Mandela effect, I think.
Yeah. This was a good comments. This is from Renee Nagel. She says it's all distraction. Rob is trying to keep everybody distracted from the real truth. And then Chloe says, show me the aliens you've been working with for 100 years. It's true. They have been, and Willow, right. More good comments. Willow says the magician's trick, look here,
Yeah.
Jason says, I want crashes, the material transfer list, the abductees to get validated, and I think we'll be ready for biologics. I agree. I agree with everybody. Everybody in our audience is like right on point. Like,
it was interesting. Some of that stuff was real footage they were showing too. Of course, some of it was fake. And it's having to really break it down and probably watch it again to try to discern what's real and what's fake. By then, that's like at the end of the movie, and that's still for me was minuscule for what the movie was about. For me, it was all disclosing all these programs. It was disclosing mind control, mostly, but first and foremost, mind control. That's it, and how they remotely create you to do what they want you to do their bidding, because that's scary. With the whole thing with the knife and that situation, not to give it away. I don't think I gave it away. I gave you like pieces, but I'm not telling you what the movie's about. You're hearing my opinion of certain things, but I'm not telling you. And some people are saying, oh, I think I want to wait to see the movie. I'd say don't wait. This is one of the most important movies you should see.
And really. It was funny. I think I
sent
you the picture.
About movies, Rob. I really don't.
They had disclosure. They had I went to the AMC movie theater, and I got a drink, obviously, right? And it was one of those drink machines where you could get like a bunch of drinks. None of it's healthy, right? It's just like, you're at the movies, right? But it was funny because there was one that said full disclosure, and I pressed on it. I still have the pictures. They had full disclosure drinks. They had like 5 of them. It's like they made drinks for this movie. Like that's how popular they. I guess because it's Spielberg, right? So it's like they're playing it up, right? Like
they're playing it up, and then the fact that the UFC fight. I'm not to bring this up again, but for those just joining, Ron made a joke out of this, especially after seeing the Hulk Hogan thing on Netflix. The real disclosure is the whole world knows about Big Mike now.
Yeah, she's talking about Josh Hogan, the fighter. He said that during his post-fight interview, he said that Michelle Obama was a man. Yeah, he said it to like the whole world. I couldn't believe he said that during the White House event. Like it was crazy. Like
I know. Well, the thing is, supposedly Joan Rivers lost her life for that.
Wow.
Don't you remember that?
No, what happened?
People said that Joan Rivers, they took her out because of that.
Because of the Michelle Obama thing?
Yeah, because she joked about it. That was part of her comedy routine.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, another thing that's come up too is that I think I sent you this video, but we didn't talk about it yet, is they're showing all these clones in Hollywood. And I had this talk with Julia on my show yesterday where Julia was saying that the originals are people more like us. And if you're successful, you're a clone. If you have no success, you're probably not a clone.
Yeah. I was just showing some of the comments. Matthew Morning was joking around in the chat. So do you think, repeat this again, I'm sorry. If you what, you're a clone. If you're what, how would this go?
If you're successful, like we were talking about the doppelgangers, and we were talking about Taylor Swift is really...
Zena LaVey's
daughter or whatever, right?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of them that look alike. Like I said, that possibly what's her face, why can't I think of her name right now? Looks like Oprah. God, my brain's not going. But just all these people, I sent videos of a lot of people. Like Tom Cruise has a lookalike. So many of them have lookalikes. Now even they say Tom Cruise is like high up in the program's off-world.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with Julie. I said, I bet Matt Damon is, because if you want disclosure, go back and watch those Jason Bourne movies.
Yeah.
And actually, you know who's going to break this movie down is John Whitberg is going to break this whole thing down probably. But I think I did a pretty good job of breaking it down.
Yeah.
How many of you seen the movie? Drop it in the chat. Let us know how many of you have actually seen this movie.
This is from Bill. I like what Bill says. Bill says he doesn't trust the crap from Hollywood, but I don't either. But it's interesting to talk about. We have to talk about it because it's an important thing for disclosure. And it's really interesting. This is from Rachel. She says the Nordic alien pic from 2018. The people have lost their sight over the pics of Trump falling asleep against the wire, meshing at flight. Just so much crap. It's trying to tie up people's energy. I agree.
Yeah.
Mortal Eyes says I've seen it. Let me see here. What's this?
Did they like it? Did they get something out of it? I mean, I really had a reaction. I really did. I mean, Ron didn't have a reaction like I did. It made me very emotional. I was very raw the whole day. I was very ungrounded. I had to go to the gym. I lifted weights and I had to get on that massage chair and hydro massage bed and all that stuff. And then I was having a craving. I was starving and, wanted to go out for a Chinese buffet. So that's what we did.
This is from Sovereign Cosmic Wildman, and I agree with everything he says here. He says, it's pretty obvious they've been targeting UFO researchers. I've been noticing the pattern since the very beginning of my researching. Yeah, and guess what? Something, Wildman? They've been doing it for years. Like, going back to when they threw James Forrestal out of a window back in the 40s is when it started, and then the cover-ups continued ever since then, and they've, people like Carla Turner in the 90s, who's like disclosing about my labs and alien abduction,
right?
It's never ending. It's like they really want to cover something up. There's something they really do not want people to, I guess there's a lot that they don't want people to know, like it's not just one thing. It's like a whole, because it's scary. It really is.
What do people think of what I feel about the Mandela Effects? Because wouldn't that be a great way to actually go back and change the timelines rather than try to cause chaos, because people, Max Spears, people are going to be in an uproar. They're going to be angry. That's the thing. It's not the races of beings, even with religion and all this stuff. It's not what we have, not what the government, it's the lies. It's been so many lies for so many years and so much control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We have to look at why they want to hide it. What is the reason they want to hide it so bad?
Yeah. I mean, I think it ties into everything, like the MyLab abductions, the targeting, the secret space program. These are all like, black books programs that they don't want people to know about. You know what I mean? What if they found out that like they were targeting people? You know what I mean? And like, like people would lose their mind.
They're disclosing that. They show you that in the movie, the targeting. They show you the targeting and what they'll do, how far they'll go. They show you that. Yeah. That's what's really interesting, and that's part of was the PTSD for me. It's like it brought up a lot of PTSD and anxiety, and I'm telling you, I don't have meltdowns in movies. I had it like a meltdown almost.
Wow. No, yeah.
It affected me, so it's almost like it's got codes to trigger you if you're in certain things to have like a meltdown and things like that. But having the Chinese food, going to that Asian buffet really helped, and I was able to get Arthur something really fun, brought him back some like fish and coconut shrimp, and he didn't get to go out that day. He was a happy camper, let me tell you.
I love Arthur. He's so awesome. Yeah.
Where are you? Where did he?
This is from. By the way, we got to give a shout out to this guy too. So Derek was saying to Sovereign Cousin Wildman, he said it's sad. Brett from Paranormal Portal died, and guess what, guys? He knew Rock Castaldo. This guy Brett from Paranormal Portal.
Oh my God!
He used to be on True. Yeah, he used to. That guy Brett from Rock Castaldo told me today that guy Brett from Paranormal Portal. They used to be on Truth Frequency Radio together back in the day. So why are all these people dying? It's like I'm honestly worried. I'm like, am I going to be next? You know what I mean? Like if this is insane. Like if somebody would have told me this 7 years ago, I would have not chosen to do this. But I can't back out now. You know?
I know. I was doing it, and then I was dark, and I feel like I'm doing it again. This is round 2. If it doesn't, if I don't get it done this time, I'm not doing it anymore.
I don't think we are. I think this is like. I think they're honestly out to kill us. And I think it's really weird. Like I don't know. It's like I don't even know what to say. Like
I don't know what to say, but I'll tell you. I think having these data centers and some of these other things, it's just going to make our world more toxic. And I also think they're trying to create like 6G. What do people think about that? Drop that in the comments. What do people think? What are people thinking about all this? It's like a nightmare. It's like crazy.
It's like the 6G and the data centers is like it's like the next level of control, surveillance, manipulation. Pollution of the planet. The data centers is like a big thing. It's like I don't know. It's And then Sonia Testerman thinks that they're going to, try to reincarnate people back into a data center.
Like that could be too. That could be upload our. Remember, they were going to upload our stuff to the internet. Remember that?
Yeah, transhumanism. But to the umpteenth degree. So you don't even get to reincarnate into a human body the next time. You get to come back into the metaverse and into a data center. That's crazy.
For those just joining, again, here's my shirt. This is it for a while, this shirt.
Well, I love that. I love that shirt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is. I love it. That's
and also Psionic Kitty. I'm going to be going. I want to get all these shows in, do all this stuff, as a jump off point after this conference. I want to circle back around, talk about that a little bit too, because I'm going to Western North Carolina a week from today. I'll be going back to Black Mountain for a bit, and then I'll be going back to Hot Springs for a bit, and then after that, I'll be going to Cherokee and Black Mountain again, and then back to Hot Springs.
Wow, those Hot Springs are probably
within there. I'm just bounce around. So maybe I'll do a live with you up from Mount Mitchell. I'd love to do that because I really want to get up there because it's going to be 20 degrees cooler.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, we can do that for sure. What do you think's going on with CERN? Did you hear that? I didn't put that in the title. What do you think? They're supposedly shutting CERN down. They said, but like for what reason? And all the weird shit they did there. Did you see some of those stuff they did there? It looked like so ritualistic. You know what I mean?
Maybe they don't need CERN anymore with all this other stuff they're doing. Is it possible that with these data centers they don't need CERN? I don't know. Maybe they've got other forms of technology to do what CERN did. Particle accelerators. What's interesting? They've shown us particle accelerators on TV shows. One of the first shows, or not first, but one show that you could see it regularly was the show Flash, which is DC Comics. With H.G. Wells invented the or Harrison Wells or whatever the guy's character name in the Flash is. He's the one that actually invents the particle accelerator, and Barry, which is the character's name, somehow is in front of it, and somehow it turns him into the Flash.
Wow.
Georgia is going to be the epicenter. Yeah, Georgia's been coming up a lot anyway. The Atlanta area, yes.
And then Karen McDonald says Sabrina Walls is doing workshops free on the Northeastern USA. Just finished. I'd like to see one of her workshops. She talks about 6G and the W band and the targeting and all that. She's like, she's next level,
Yeah, 6G, I get has something to do with it's like going to create like a false sacred geometry. So how is that going to affect our physical body? Because we are a geometry, and our water. So the waters are calling me to really be working with the waters. We need to be, setting good intention for our water. And I have my Marsui Emoto cards because that's the quick way,
Yeah, Jay
Also,
Skyrunner says a person did come through CERN. Just confirm that. Wait, I'm sorry. Can you? He got my attention. What kind of cards is it again? They're the Matsui Emoto cards.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we can pull some of those, and people can charge their water with what they need. But what else are people saying in the chat? I mean, oh my God,
Karen
crazy.
McDonald says,
and then I've got
some pole shift vertical poles just kicked in. It's weird. Things have been weird.
Here's another thing. I know what I was going to tell you. This, first of all, when we had the full moon, which was the full moon after the Wesak moon, so it would have been after the Taurus moon. Maybe it's I don't know what the astrology was, but
yeah,
Taurus was Arthur's birthday. Okay, and because it doesn't always fall, because this is the Gemini new moon, so maybe it was actually the Taurus full moon. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but the energy was so intense that I was actually seeing from the geomagnetic storms the northern lights here in South Carolina, and I'm not supposed to see them. They actually tell me they're coming, and I photograph them. They're the auroras. I mean, they communicate with me. It's like these Polarian beings. It's something to do with lining up with the poles. Yes, she's absolutely right, with the North Pole and getting the axis correct so we don't go into like a pole shift. So I get these pictures. It's not like seeing the aurora borealis like if you went up to Norway or Iceland or Finland or to the North Pole and seeing it like that with the naked eye, but it's sort of like seeing, feeling, having a knowingness. And then my camera will get pictures of the sky like pink facing, I think like to the north I'm getting more pink, and to the south I might be getting more blue. I don't know, or maybe it's the opposite, but it's usually a configuration of purple, pink, and blue. And then I just hit enhance on my phone to brighten it up so you could see it, because otherwise if you didn't hit, like enhance, it would be dark in color. But I'm not changing anything. I'm just hitting enhance so it brightens it up so you can see it.
This is a question. This was a question from Chief Mustache. He says, "Do you think the data centers already exist?" He says, "We are just being told about them now." I think some of them do already exist. And I think they're building them underneath your under. How do I say this? Like they're building them without you knowing about it
under
in your
Walmart.
town.
Under
Yeah,
Walmart.
they're building one. Like I live in I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're building them in my town, and then they're building them in the town over, and they're not telling anybody or asking anybody's permission. That's how fucked up this is.
You know what they've been doing? And I want to go back to what I was going to share, what happened in my room. So in Asheville, North Carolina, on Airport Road, there's like a shopping center that has like a PetSmart that I would go to, and like a Target, and like a Big Lots, if you know what that store is.
Yeah, I remember Big Lots. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Big Lots. On one, I love Big Lots. On one end, there's a Lowe's. And from the Lowe's, you could actually see for years there was these dump trucks moving dirt around. Now, yes, the airport's over there, okay, and they were expanding the airport, but these unmarked trucks moving a bunch of dirt around. It was kind of suspicious, and they were building Sierra Nevada, but this wasn't in the area of the airport or the Sierra Nevada that you could just see this stuff going on. So they hide things in plain sight. And I've heard that there's actually data centers under Walmart. So like, you know, there's a Walmart. Well, yeah, this was close. This wasn't where Walmart is because Walmart's further up. But I've always wondered with that what that was, and that's suspicious. But let me share what was in the room. So I have a smoke alarm in the ceiling up there. Okay.
Yeah.
And the smoke alarm normally has like the LED light that's red. Well, it was that night flashing like a bright pink, like a magenta, with these trails of weirdness coming off, and even like a blue mist too, like a bright pink and a bright blue. And I felt that when you lay in bed and your body starts to shake and vibrate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you shut it down because it's like, fuck no, you're not doing anything to me. It's not happening. You're not. Because it feels like, absolutely. Are they going to take me? It's like, what are you guys doing? Are you going to take me? So I shut it down, then I can't go to sleep. And with the naked eye, I'm seeing all these geometric patterns, these wispy things. I was like scared shitless, like, don't let me see some gray or some I don't want that. I don't consent to anything like that coming in my room. But these wispy things, yes, these are fine. These like aurora borealis like things. I mean, not exactly.
Do you think they might be like the Fae or something like that, or what?
I don't know. It was like plasma things, these wispy things, and then I was seeing like honeycombs and like spider web kind of things. I was like, I don't know if I like the spider web. So I'm sticking my hand and I'm like seeing the webbing between my fingers. Have you ever seen that? Like you kind of like you have your fingers and you're like looking between your fingers and you're seeing this webbing. So I'm looking at that. And then there's this like ectoplasma, this green goo. And I stick my hand in this and my hand disappears. Like it's going into
holy shit.
And then I'm with the naked eye, haven't taken anything but melatonin. No, nothing else. No
drugs,
no psilocybin, none of that. The sky, the ceiling is gone. This happened one other time in my life. I was safe in the bed with Ron and Arthur. The sky was gone, and I was looking at the stars. I mean, not the sky, the roof. The ceiling in my house was gone, and I'm looking at the stars. Yeah. And this went on for I don't know how long. So I'm looking at this, and then it, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm just looking, and I'm like, what is this about? What does this mean? What is this about? I sat with it for a while with my hands in this portal. They actually felt a little different, like not dissolving, but like they're in this ectoplasm, and the ceiling's gone. Then finally, it's like, okay, this is wearing me out. I'm done. Okay, thank you. You know, thank you for whatever consciousness this is and wants to show me this stuff connected with the Polarians and Polaris, because that's what I think it's connected to. The next day, I go downstairs, and we have a concrete slab underneath the house. But this house here is built on stilts because it's in the low country. there's a crack all the way around in a circle in this foundation. The whole
Holy shit.
concrete is cracked. And this was out around the time of those sonic booms.
Whoa. Holy shit.
And I was gonna go down there and take pictures of this. I actually want to talk about this days earlier, but it just didn't happen. I mean, I did bring it up on Aloha Pink Bellas with you. I kind of brought this up to do with, because I think the whole thing with the sonic booms is could create earthquakes and stuff like that. Now, I didn't hear them. There's been times I've heard them. Animals might have heard them, but they might be so high now that I can't hear it with the naked ear. I don't know.
Yeah. That's I think we should do like a divine feminine panel. We should get a bunch of women, like together. I can host it, but we could get like Pink Bella, you, Christy, Anchor Haven. We could get a bunch of people. We could get Chloe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be a cool thing to do. I might do that.
Actually, the women are getting together when you have Sean Bond on. It's going to be me and Christy and Tiffany.
That's awesome.
And we're going to talk about the ant people, because you know what? Okay, this was weird today too, because I was pondering about, they want to talk about the ant people. So I was connecting with the ants, and I said, I never want to harm you or hurt you. Sometimes I might have to move your house because of the fact that it's going to either get run over here or somebody's going to step on it, because if it's in the middle of a place where people walk, you can't help that. But they said they don't even care because they're so resilient. And it's like, and even Joshua Shapiro said, I heard if you build it, they will come. It's like to keep with the mission and keep doing it until the end. And it will be fruitful to just keep plugging along. Because I'm like, this is exhausting to just keep plugging along. But they're like, just keep going, just keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, who were the ant people? Like, are they you mean like
the ones that are underground? And I'm going to hear more about it from Christy, because I guess she had an activation when she went to Sedona and was connecting with the ant people.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
So it's like inner earth hub gauge, all the stuff to do with the inner earth.
Yeah.
Drop it in the chat if you've had a connection with the ant people. I have more of a connection with the spirit animal of here. And yes, then the consciousness comes through that animal. So whether it's praying mantises or it's dragonflies or something like that, I've had experiences where it feels alien to me. It's very much the animal or the bug or whatever it is, and then it's inhabited with another consciousness, which means the consciousness of that being may take a back seat and this other consciousness steps in the forefront like it's driving the car. That's the way I experience it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because for me, that's less traumatizing, because this stuff can cause a lot of trauma. When you see beings in your room, like when Gina talks about angels coming through the wall as a child and they're not angels, that's traumatizing. And by the way, the conference was amazing. Everybody did a great job. It was a great day. It was very activating. And we're going to have a panel with Michael Koff where we're going to kind of go over and break it down what all the speakers talked about. So it was just amazing. And the talk that I gave ended up turning into something totally different, because I was worried I'm not going to get this done in 35 minutes. There's no way. Well, I ended up being able to do it because I actually did 2 meditations and went in a totally different direction than I thought I was going to go. I wanted to go in a different direction because I figure if people want to hear just my stories, they can tune into your show and they can go back and listen to these shows about grid work and different things that I've talked about. So I wanted to give them an experience through the perspective of, the first meditation was me when I watched the falconer with the man with his glove and the falcon, and seeing through the bird's eyes and experiencing as the falconer myself, because when I was told to go on the grid, on the road as a grid worker, that's how it was for me. That's what was presented to me right after I heard that. You're going to go over the road to do grid work. I go outside my RV. Now, in the meditation, I changed the RV to a cabin because I figured if I say you're sitting there in your RV, people are going to go, huh? What?
Yeah.
Sitting in my RV? What? They can't relate to that because most people haven't probably even been in a recreational vehicle. So I changed it to a cabin in the woods. You're sitting there with your crystal over the four corners. Then you go outside, you meet this falconer, and then he tells, you have this experience of being able to have the bird's eye view and look down at the land grids.
That's cool. Hell yeah. 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 That's really cool. So you did like a meditation then?
Yeah, I did 2 different ones. And then I did a meditation at the end where I combined all the work to do at the Bermuda Triangle, where we were in Puerto Rico with the iguanas, when I was down with Robert the Haunted Doll, and I was in Key West, and when, just all these different things, all these different places. And it started from Mount Mitchell. Like, you're up at the top of Mount Mitchell and you're gazing over the mountains, and then you're seeing how all these grids connect, and even clearing things at Fort Sumter. That whole thing with that grid work that was supposed to happen in Charleston at Fort Sumter, and it never flew. You know what a friend of mine told me? He said, you didn't need to do that grid work, because I thought, oh, well, it needs to really be, if I'm not going to do it, it needs to be that the Geechee Gullah, the Geechee people, the black slave trade, the people that were the slaves that were that were enslaved by the patriarchy, and the ones that were in Fort Sumter. I was thinking it's the ancestors of both of those that need to sit down and hold hands and pray and do a meditation over the land. And that didn't happen either, at least not yet. You know what happened? The monks walked through there, the Tibetan monks. They didn't actually walk through Charleston, but they walked through Columbia, and their whole thing was walking for peace. So that was enough for now.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was trying to think of what else. I was thinking what else we could cover. What time's your show? 8:30?
The next one is at 9. So, we can have this one a little shorter if anybody doesn't have any questions, but we can also pull a couple of those Marsui Emoto cards, because I think we need to work with the waters, because Chloe was also on my show. Go back and listen to that. It was great. She needed to channel one of my crystal skulls, which is called Esmeralda. And the reason I had Esmeralda out, because Esmeralda connects in with Joshua Shapiro's skull, named Rosalita, that has the detachable jaw that I got the name 4 years ago. And Rosalita is totally modeled after the Mitchell Hedges skull. And, Bill Holman with the Mitchell Hedges skull was at the Rise of the Guardians conference. So anyway, Chloe was getting things through when she was channeling Esmeralda about the waters, and to be prepared for more, not so good things happening, like those storms, like that Helene, and in different parts of the United States, like, North Carolina and here, and also even the Colorado River. No timeline in it. So we need to work with the waters, and about sticking our left hand in the water. There was something about that. We did a short on it, and you can go look at it, and I'll make sure it gets posted, but I want to watch that again. Something about, setting intentions even with our drinking water, with the water. And I'm having Ani Sophine out on tomorrow, mine. So we're going to talk about water a lot. We're going to talk about Mount Shasta. We're going to talk about that spring out there, because I know you had her on, and I've been feeling a connection of wanting to do some kind of grid work to connect with the West Coast. So I figured that would be perfect, because Lake Shasta has always been very activating to me.
Yeah. I just had her on. I think it was like 4 days ago or something.
Yeah.
I have some shorts I want to post about it, but I don't know. Yeah, that should be a really good show. She's she knows a lot about, it's like a haunted spring she's living by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, yeah, if anybody wants a card, let us know. You can pull one for me to start off, and then we'll go to someone else, I like Ani a lot, by the way.
Reverence. It's about reverencing your water, reverencing actually anything that you drink water, the reverence of your body. Your body holds water because it's mostly water, okay? And it's about clearing this energy of these data centers, the 6G, all of it, and to homeopathically we don't diagnose, treat here. This is all for entertainment purposes, but
Yeah, no medical advice,
energetically,
guys.
to bring in the frequency of these. And what you can actually do is you can take cards like this and you can set your water on top of it.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
it says reverence, and then it's.
Have you ever looked into Vita Austin too? She does stuff like a moto, like Vita Austin. It's a water lady. She's really into. I got to get her back on again. She's I don't think she answered me.
And it's raining here, and we need the rain. I was like, I've been praying for rain, and a soft soaking rain, because we don't want any droughts. Because when we have droughts and the land is dry, then we get too much rain. It's so much worse.
Yeah. That was so reverence for me. I got to remember that.
Reverence.
When anybody else like
the end of the movie too. What was the last thing they said in the movie? Do you remember?
Wasn't we need full disclosure, was it? Or what did they say?
The last word out of her mouth was listen.
Wow.
And then it made me think of that song. It's like a little kid's spiritual song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Something like that. Listen, listen, listen. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That makes sense. Like,
Does anybody want a card in the chat?
Yeah, just put your name in the chat. You don't have to donate, guys, but thanks, Jason, for putting up the donation.
You don't have to donate, but Rob, after what I went through today and what Chloe went through today, and then Christy and I were on the phone, and it's like, it's a lot of work. Donate to Rob. It is so much work. This is about having hope for humanity. Hope.
Yeah, I'll put the links in the chat. Yeah. Let me see. Hey. Why am I writing this? Okay. Let me see who else. Katie says, "Listen, yes." Jay Skyrunner says he'd like a card.
Who?
And Jay Skyrunner would like a card, and Renee Nagel would like a card. Let me put their things up first. I was putting in the links to donate in the thing, guys. So here's Jay. We'll do him first, and then we'll do Renee Nagel next.
It's a healing card. And look at the gold frequency here. Look at this more. It's like goldish. See this? Rob?
That's beautiful. It is. How did the water get gold like that?
I'm not 100% sure. I really don't know. The lighting, I guess.
And then Monique was like a card too. We got you, Brandy.
This is for healing, like balancing the brain, healing card.
That was a beautiful card. Yeah, these are beautiful. Like, these are amazing.
Yeah.
So do you collect decks then, Missy? It's probably a stupid question.
I have a lot of tarot decks and stuff. Yeah. I just ordered Julia Anchorhaven's deck too.
Oh, I got to get that.
So I'm going to get that when I get back to Hot Springs. That'll be coming because I want to support her. And I need to get my own deck. I've got ideas for stuff, but you know what? I need a coach on how to use the AI and how to use the chat GPT, because I've got this book in my head and I've tried to write it before and I want to get it done. I want to get the Soda Chronicles out. I mean, if you like that name, I thought As Seen Through the Eyes of the Cat, but I think it's going to be called the Soda Chronicles.
Yeah, that's cool.
Her name was Soda, because I found her behind a soda machine and she was an orange cat like Arthur.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful color for a cat. This is from Renee Nagel. She said she would love a card. So
again, about balancing the brain. I think I already pulled that card. So we all need brain balancing, because you were talking about your memory.
My memory's not good at all.
Yeah, why are we feeling that? Lion's mane. I mean, to eat it. I love lion's mane. I love lion's mane. Have you ever had it?
Yeah, I have. I actually, that's crazy you say that. I have a mix right now of Amanita mushroom and lion's mane, which is the Leonita, which is one of my sponsors, Brad from Shamanitas. He makes those Amanita sprays, and the one is lion's mane. Yeah.
But have you actually eaten the lion's mane? Like, you cook it up and you eat it. It's delicious.
But do they say that helps with memory, the lion's mane?
Yes, yeah, that does.
Oh, I'll start taking it then. I have it in the refrigerator.
But eating it too, like growing it, like buying a box of it on Amazon and growing it. Like you would grow shiitakes, or oyster
Maitake
mushrooms or whatever. Yeah, look
Yeah.
at this one. So this is for honesty. And I get this is about being honest with yourself, like being more honest with yourself about your feelings, about being able to connect deeper within yourself and not sloughing things off, not second guessing yourself and stuff like that.
This is from Kate Monet. She says she'd like a card. I love that picture of her in the Wonder Woman outfit.
No, that's cute. I love that. And this is about harmony. This is about bringing balance and harmony into your life and awareness. Like, let everything be balanced and harmonious.
I love that.
Instead of like chaotic, because a lot of times when we come in these shifts, things come in as chaos first. And this has been great this time because I felt like today it was a little, hard because when you're dealing with technology and it's ungrounding and it makes you have a stiff neck. Like for me, it bothers my neck. My neck, when I start doing this, this kind of work, my neck starts hurting. Like if I have to look at a computer screen all day or something like that, or like doing taxes or something like that is like, that makes my neck hurt, This is about soul connections. Here's that gold, the frequency of that gold color again, that gold, bringing in that golden light.
There you go, Monet. But we just got a question from Jim Gerard. He says, how do we stop digital ID? You know what? Honestly, I'm in a boss to stop all this shit. Like, it's like, I feel like they're bringing on the data centers, digital ID, and it's like, what can we do? You know what I mean? Like anybody that tries to be rebellious, they just make them crazy.
I don't know because now, I just finally got my new passport, and I know when you go through the line, they do, they're doing minority report. What do they do? Like a facial recognition, probably scan your eyes or whatever. In Whole Foods, they have the thing where you can show your hand. That's like Mark of the Beast technology. I won't do that. Like you can scan your hand. Have you seen that at Whole Foods?
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't agree with that. So this is Earth. It's about earth magic and healing the earth and healing yourself with, look how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful? So just breathe in these frequencies into the waters of your body. See it going into the waters of your body for healing. God, I hope this streamed to my platform. So you think it did, Rob?
I can tell it did because it's check marked up on the screen, and we had some people from your chat.
It's not telling me here. It's not saying anything.
It was because like we had Christy and Tiffany. They were in your chat for a little bit. Like I could tell because they have a circle around their name. So yeah, they were in the. Yeah, you're live. Yeah.
Okay.
You're for sure,
I didn't mean to start it that way because I didn't like the way I started with the show because I didn't know it was live. That's the thing. It's not really letting me know. I don't know the prompts on StreamYard. It's not letting me know it's live yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did this? Did I send this to the wrong person? Like, I was sending this woman our link because she was into the data centers, like, and I figured she'd want to hear about the data centers, but like, it's like I'm sending messages and they're not going to the right person, and then this is so weird. This is like, it's total fuckery with what's going on with me. Honestly, it's like, it really is. Like, it's like, they broke my phone. I don't want to sound crazy, but
your computer today, what was going on with that?
It just wasn't working right. Like nothing's working right. Like I don't know if I just shared the link for AI or what, but yeah, this is absolutely insane. Like I don't know. I don't know what.
But anyway, my final thoughts are, because I'll go ahead and jump off. That way you get a rest before Sean.
I just asked him if he wants to start later because you guys have a show. So maybe there's a chance we'll start later. We're supposed to start at 9, but I want to see maybe if he wants to start maybe like an hour later or something. Like,
okay, that's
maybe
cool.
Even
That'd
later,
be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people want to come over to mine for a little bit, and you can get a little rest in between, and all this, and just integrate this. But I would say, if you're so inclined, go see this movie. I think it's a more important movie than the other movies that have been coming out. There's some that look pretty stupid to me. I don't know what the thing with Minions was. when I went to the Cinemark, it's all this Minion stuff. Like everything is an advertisement for Minions, and that's like a mind screw up too. Like all this programming with Minions. What is that about? That
Yeah.
I don't have a clue, because I can't really remember what Minions is about anyway, except you can create a minion to do your bidding, I guess. But do you have a clue about that? Did you see that whole Minion thing too, or is that just because that's what Cinemark does?
I think that's what Cinemark does. You know, I'm not sure. You know, yeah.
Rob, so are you putting together the thing for us to all get together? Have you thought about that more?
Do you want me? You want to do the panel on Disclosure Day? I'll do it tomorrow night. We can do it tomorrow night. I know Jason said he's interested. I
wasn't talking about that. I was talking about for real getting together in the physical.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that for real. Yeah, I'm talking with Amy from New Orleans. I think she said her bed and breakfast can house up to, like, I think she said it has 14 rooms or something like that. Then so like whoever wants that, we could get, like she said she'd give me a package deal. We could stay there, and then other people, that if we get more people, they could stay like closer. And then I would have to rent a place to like have like a conference type place, you know. So, yeah, I am doing it. I am looking into it, you know. So, you know, I mean, we'll see, you know, but like she definitely said she would give us a deal on the bed and breakfast. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm on it for sure. You know, and it looks like it's going to be New Orleans. You know.
Oh, really? Interesting. Not this time of the year. It's too hot and humid.
No, I think she said September, because I think that she said that would be the best.
Do that. You know, you're coming into hurricane season too now.
Yeah.
You have to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
This is hurricane season. Like right at 4th of July is when it starts.
Yeah.
And the first one, they say they're going to name it Arthur.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Arthur?
That's
they had to
crazy.
pick on Arthur.
Do you remember the movie from the 80s, Arthur, about the Dudley Moore? Do you remember that?
Something like that, maybe.
It was
Dudley
like
Moore. I'm thinking of Otis and Milo. Was that Dudley Moore too?
maybe
That movie, Otis and
Dudley
Milo.
Moore was he was like the rich, like he was like an alcoholic, and he was like a a playboy. You know, it was a funny movie in the 80s. You know, I don't know. I watched all those crazy movies in the 80s. Like, I love the movies in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s were the best.
You know what I was watching the other night when I came back? I had to go back and watch old Saturday Night Live clips.
Oh, I love old Saturday Night Live.
I had to go watch, like, I was watching, like, Hans and Franz, and I was
watching that's hilarious.
Church Chat. Remember Church Chat, the church lady?
Remember Coffee Talk? Coffee Talk. Let's talk about it. You remember that one?
Yeah, that was on there. And I'm Gumby, damn it.
Yeah, that was Eddie Murphy, right? Yeah. Like, and they that was just like classic, you know. Like, man, I miss when
comedy was good. Now comedy, you go on a cruise and it's all body parts. Who cares? I mean, a little of that goes a long way. I call it bathroom humor. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, this was amazing, Missy. Yeah. Do you want to tell people how they can follow you? And thanks for
come over to my channel too, because I'm actually doing a reboot on my channel called Galactic Earth Fusion Mission Upgrade, because it is a mission upgrade. So that's what it is. It's Missy Hill at Galactic Earth Fusion on YouTube, and then there's also, you know, Missy.Hill.372. That's Instagram. Facebook, you just find me through mutual friends. X, I still haven't rebooted that because X is too volatile and bothers me emotionally. I don't feel good when I'm on there. And then my email is Hill, Hill, Night, Nite, Vision, Vision @gmail.com. You know, for me, a panel show Friday night's probably better than the next 2 days. I'm just saying, you know, it's what I do, but.
I mean, I want to do a deep one on Disclosure Day. Like, you know,
Friday would be better for me because we got too much going on the next.
I don't know. Look, I mean, like, if you want to see my calendar, look, I have nothing scheduled. Like, I have nothing scheduled for the second half of the month. So I have to schedule people, you know, like I usually have stuff scheduled. I mean, I have tomorrow I have Karen McDonald. Then Thursday I have an SRA survivor. So, you know, I do have some stuff scheduled, but it's nothing like, not like usual. I
would like to do it and do it with people, but that's the best day for me, because then I'll be like you tomorrow, Rob. I'll be doing 3 shows tomorrow, and I don't want it. I can't.
It's too much. I wouldn't recommend anybody do it. I'm crazy. You know what I mean? It's not healthy, really. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It's really. I don't know why I do. I do it because it's really my only. I don't know. I mean, it's not my only talent, but like it's a talent that I have, so I just do it. You know, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, if you could do it Friday or Saturday, for me that's better. So
okay, yeah, I'll talk to everybody and I'll see what everybody thinks. And yeah, and thank you, Missy. This was awesome. Yeah,
it was fun. It's always fun. And here, let's do this again. Let's go out with this, okay?
And guys, I will be live with Sean Bond at some point tonight. So I don't know when. I just told him maybe we should do later. So, That's great. Well, all right, guys. I will see you